Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's math lesson. My name is Miss Brooklyn, and I am so excited to jump on into this lesson with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so you guys can follow along with what is going on. All right, so today we are going to be talking about place value math riddles. And you might be thinking, what is this? Basically, we are going to be talking about place value, and we're going to be doing some fun riddles to go along with it. If you've never heard of a riddle, it's just like a little, kind of like I don't really know how to describe it, but it's kind of like a fun thing for us to figure out. It's like, yeah, we'll figure it out together. It'll be so much fun. So, moving on, this is our objective and our standard. I always love to include the objective and standard just because I feel like you guys should know what you should be learning. And I also like to check in again at the end to make sure that you guys feel like you've actually hit this objective and you've learned what you are supposed to. And then for the standard, that is what everyone in your grade for the whole state is supposed to learn. So that just kind of helps us make sure we know we're staying on track and learning what we are supposed to. All right, so again, like I said, we will hit this again at the end, but for now, this is our objective and standard. So for materials today, it's pretty simple, just paper and writing utensils, whether it is lined paper or plain paper, blank paper, markers. I don't care, whatever it is that you guys have. I'm actually going to be using a whiteboard and some dry erase markers so you guys can actually see, since the whiteboard is a lot bigger than just a piece of paper, so you guys can see really well. But yeah, whatever you guys have will work awesome. And so go ahead and pause this video and you can grab those materials. Okay, hopefully you guys had a chance to grab those materials and we can go ahead and jump on into our lesson. All right, so this is just a little bit, I don't want to say the word quiz because I don't like that word because we are not taking a quiz. This is not for a grade. But I do want you guys to look at these three numbers and tell me if you guys, how many ones you see, how many tens you see, how many hundreds do you see? It's important that you guys are able to tell in each number how many ones, tens, and hundreds there are. And if you don't know how to tell that, do not worry. I am going to show you guys. So go ahead and look at the first number, 7. Tell me if you see ones, tens, or hundreds. Okay, so for 7, all this is, when you have a single digit like this, these are ones. So if we just have a single digit, this is just ones. So you are saying 7 is not enough to make a group of tens, so we are not in the tens yet. And if we don't have tens, we definitely don't have hundreds. So these are just ones. So pretend this had 7 cookies. You have 7 cookies, 7 individual cookies, just in ones, not in tens, not one group of 10. Nope, there's not enough for that. Just 7 ones. So in that very first problem, there are no tens and no hundreds, only ones. Moving on. Let's look at the number 17 together. Do you guys see hundreds, tens, ones? What do you guys see here? Hopefully you guys see right here, we have 2 digits. So we know we have more than just ones, right? If we have 2 digits, we know we at least have tens because this is our place value for tens. The left place value here. If we only have 2 numbers, this is our place value for tens. So how many groups of 10 do we have? one group of 10. And let's look at this place value. For our ones, how many ones do we have? 7. So we have one group of 10 and 7 ones. That makes up 17. And we know that's true because 10 plus 7 equals 17. Now, moving on to number 3. This is a way bigger number than before. This is 2, 3, 1, okay? Wow. So we talked about when we have 1 digit, we talked about when we have 2 digits, but when we have 3 digits, we have more than just ones, more than just tens. Now we actually have hundreds as well. So we know that this is our ones place, right? It goes ones, tens, and hundreds. So when you look in the ones place, you see how many ones we have. When you look at the tens place, you see how many groups of 10 we have. When you look in the hundreds place, you see how many groups of 100 we have. So let's look first just at the ones, okay? How many groups of 1 do we have? Not groups of 1, just how many ones do we have? And it's just 1. We just have one single 1. Now let's see, how many groups of 10 do we have, do you guys think? 3 groups of 10. Perfect. And now how many hundreds? Where is our place value for those hundreds? Right here, and we have 2 hundreds, okay? So this number, now I'm going to read it off, is 231. 231. If we use 231, we know we have 2 hundreds, 3 tens, and 1 1. So that was just a little bit of a practice, not a quiz, but just kind of to see what you guys know before, so that we can get ourselves refreshed, maybe if we haven't heard about this in a while, about what we should be learning and what we should know. All right, moving on. So this is just a little chart I created for you guys so you can see in every number where the place value is. So starting with our very first number, 142, okay? 142 is our first number. You guys can see I marked the hundreds place by using a red 1 in the column that says hundreds. In the tens, I marked this by using an orange 4, okay? And then in the ones column, I did a purple 2. So we know that is how many 2s we have. Or I'm sorry, how many 1s we have. We have 2 1s. And again, in the tens, we have 4 10s. In the hundreds, we have 100. Awesome. Awesome job, you guys. So that was just our first example. Let's go on to our second. I know you guys can already see where I have kind of colored it off, but I still want to go over it. So our number is 767. Okay, 767. And with that, let's go ahead and start at the hundreds. We have 3 digits here, so we know we have at least one group of hundreds, okay? So let's see. In that place value, the third spot over there to the very left, how many hundreds do we have in that number? 7. We have 7 hundreds. Awesome job, you guys. Now let's look at the middle number here. And let's look at our tens. How many groups of 10 do we have? 6. Perfect. And how many ones do we have in this number? When you look at this number, how many ones? Good, 7. So another way to think of this, if you guys ever want to know how many ones, how many tens, how many hundreds, and you guys are feeling confused or feel like you don't know what's going on here, one little trick that I like to use if I feel like I need to is if I'm looking at this number and I'm thinking, okay, I do not know how to tell how many are here. What I can do is I can cover up the other two numbers. So if I'm asking myself, okay, how many ones? Well, all I have to do is look, what's that number? Whoops. What's that number? 7. So I know I have 7 ones. Now I just move it 1 over. Okay, how many 10s? What's that number? 6. So I know I have 6 groups of 10. And then I move it over 1 more and say, how many groups of hundreds do I have? 7. You can cover up the other numbers if they are confusing you or if you're feeling like it's just too much information to take in at once. All right, so that was 767. Let me share with you guys again so you can see the other number that I have there for you in that chart I made you. Okay, here we go. So our final number in here is 386. So again, let's take a look. How many hundreds do we have here? How many hundreds? Let's look at the place value. How many hundreds? 300s. Awesome. Now, how many tens do we have in this number? Look right here. 8. Awesome job, you guys. 8 groups of 10. Now, how many ones do we have left? 6. Perfect. So this number as a whole is 386. 386. And the cool thing about this is when we look at that, so our number was 386. I'm going to write that on my whiteboard so you guys can see that. The cool thing about that is if we take 300 plus, and we add, let's just say we add 80. So let's do 300 plus 80, which is 380. Okay, and then let's add that 6. That equals 386. So really all we're doing is taking apart these numbers, but when we add them back together in this way, it gives us the correct answer. So that's how we know that we're doing it correctly. So we said there are 300s, so we wrote 300. We said there are 8 tens, so we wrote our 80. And we said 6 ones, so we just wrote a 6. And we did 300 plus 80, which is 380 plus 6 equals 386. So we know that we got the correct answer and that we are doing this correctly. You guys will be able to check any and all problems that you decompose like this just by doing that. It's a great way to check them and also a great way for you to just get to understand them a little bit more. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you and we are going to continue on practicing and learning. Okay, we are finished with this chart I made, so let's go ahead and move on. So here are our riddles. This is the time where I just want you guys to watch me. You don't need to worry about writing any of this down. Just watch me and I will solve these, okay? So just watch and I will solve. Okay, here is the first riddle. I have 5 hundreds, 6 tens, and 2 ones. What number am I? 5 hundreds, 6 tens, and 2 ones. What number am I? Now, I want to show you guys, there are 2 different ways I could do this problem. And I exited out of the PowerPoint so I could use my whiteboard to show you guys kind of full screen so you could see this. So again, I'm going to read this out so you know exactly what it says. It says, I have 5 hundreds, 6 tens, and 2 ones. There are 2 ways to do this. The first way is that we can use addition. So the simplest thing to do is it said, I have 500s. So I'm going to write 500. And then it said, I have 500s. Then it said, I have 6 tens. So I can add 60. And before we add on our ones, I'm going to add this first just to make it a little bit less complicated. So our answer is 560. And then the problem also says I have 2 ones. So I'm going to take our answer, that is 560, and all I'm going to do is add 2, okay? 560 plus 2 is 562. So our grand total answer would be that number is 562, which is 562. This is the first way we can do this problem, and all we're doing is using addition to do it. The other way we can do this problem is simply by just filling in the place values that we already know. So we know we have ones, we know we have hundreds, and we know that we have tens. So what we're going to do is, another way to do it is just to make 3 lines here. And so I can write hundreds, tens, and ones, okay? So this is one way to do it. So let's look again. It says, I have 500s. So all I need to do is write 5 in this spot here. Then it says, I have 6 tens. So I just need to write the 6 here. And then it says, I have 2 ones. So I'm going to write the 2 in here. Again, we get the exact same number, 562. And how we got that is we are just using our knowledge of our place value knowledge. We know that the hundreds is over 3 over here, right? And then that second digit, it's going to be the tens. And then this third one is the ones. So we're just using that place value knowledge, but we're still getting the same answer. To me, however you guys want to do it is completely fine. I'll kind of switch off. I'll switch off and yeah, and we'll kind of switch up how we do it. But if you guys have a way you like to do it, then go ahead and do it that way. I'm going to share my screen with you guys again so we can keep following along together. Okay. All right, so here we go. We already got that. And I'm going to go ahead and write in that answer. Whoops. I'm going to write in that answer so that we know we did it, which is 562. Okay. So the next one is I have 300s, no tens, and 8 ones. With this one, we have no tens there. So the way that I'm going to do this is just fill it in with place value. I'm going to make our 3 spaces here. Hundreds, tens, and ones. All right, so it says I have 300s, no tens, and 8 ones. So how many hundreds do we have here? Well, we have 300. So I'm going to go ahead and write that. Now it says I have no tens. Okay, so if I have no tens, all I'm going to do, I don't need to make this complicated. Just write a 0. That's it, no tens. This is still in the tens place, but that's just telling us we don't have any groups of 10 here. And 8 ones. So I'm going to write an 8 in my ones column, and our final number is 308. So it's just saying we have 3 groups of 100, no tens, and then 8. So the reason why we still have to put this 0 here is because if we just made our number, I'm going to go ahead and erase this. You guys got 308. If we just made our number like this does not represent 308. This represents 38. which is not the same thing because this is our tens place. So this tens place, it represents the tens, not the hundreds. So we have to be sure to put that 0 there so we know that we have 300s. All right, moving on. This is where I would love for you guys to grab your paper, your pencil, whatever you have, and just work this out with me. All right, I am going to do this by, again, just drawing out our place values. So if you want to see, I'm going to show you. See, it says hundreds, tens, ones, so you guys can write that out. It says, I have 9 hundreds, 4 tens, and 3 ones. What number am I? So you guys, how many hundreds do we have here? Say it out loud. 9 hundreds. All right, let's write that in. How many tens do we have here? How many tens can we write there? 4 tens. Awesome. And now what about our ones? How many ones do we have? 3. Perfect, you guys. Our number is 943. So this means we have 9 groups of 100, we have 4 groups of 10, and we have 3 individual ones. Perfect, 943. Okay, this one is a little bit trickier, okay? Let's do it. It says, I have 8 tens. What number am I? Okay, so do we have any hundreds? Nope. We have no hundreds, so you guys can put a 0 there. Do we have tens? Yes, we do have tens. How many tens do we have? 8 tens. Awesome. Now, what about ones? Does it say anything about ones in there? Nope, it doesn't say anything about ones. Okay, so this number is 80. We don't need this 0 here because we don't have any hundreds. We do need this 0 right here though, because if we just had an 8, what number? Here, let's see if I can do that. What number is that? That's 8. No one knows that that's 80. They just know that that's 8. So we do need to put a 0 in our ones place, but we do not need to put a 0 in our hundreds place. People will not think that you have hundreds there, and it will be the correct answer. Now, if for some reason you did put the 0 before the 8, that would be fine, but that's not what we do traditionally. That's not how we write the answers. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. If you have 8 tens, you just have 80. All right, now let's look at the next one. It says, I have 3 hundreds. Okay, let's look again. How many hundreds do we have? 3 hundreds. Awesome job, you guys. Now, how many tens does it say we have? Doesn't say anything about tens. Now, what about ones? What about ones? Doesn't say anything about ones. So this is what we are left with. What is this number? 300. This is the number 300. And again, we need these 2 zeros here because if we took away these zeros, what number would that be? 3. And no one would know that you have 3 groups of 100. This is 300, not 3, not 30, but 300. So we need those 2 zeros there. All right, let's move on again. We have one last one we are going to do together. And that is, I have 4 hundreds, 2 tens, and 2 ones. So tell me guys, how many hundreds do we have? Awesome, 4 hundreds. How many tens do we have? 2 tens, whoops, 2 tens. And how many ones do we have? How many ones? 2 ones. Awesome. So this number is 422. We have 4 hundreds, 2 tens, and 2 ones. 422. And the other way that you guys can do that, I do just want to refresh your memory in case you would like to do it that way, is if you know you have 400s, you can simply write out, okay, 400 plus 2 tens is 20 equals 420. So here we go, look. 400 plus 20 equals 420. And then we know we're going to add 2, so we do 420 plus 2 equals 422. Awesome. So we're still getting the exact same answer. We're just getting it in a little bit different of a way. We can always use different methods to help us come to the correct answer. So another great way to look at this is, let's just break it down. Let's break it down. So 87. We look at the number 87, that's our first example. I'm actually just gonna stop sharing with you guys and just show you my board here. So 87, how many hundreds are in 87? Do we have that third place value over here? There's like, I like to call it a silent O because it's not there, or I'm sorry, a silent 0 because it's not there, but that's what it stands for because there's nothing there. So no hundreds, but we do have 8 tens. So whoops, I'm actually just gonna write 8 tens. 8 tens. And how many ones do we have? 7 ones. Awesome job, you guys. So 87 is just 8 tens and 7 ones. It's important that not only can we build the number, but we can take it apart and tell people, oh, that has 8 tens, that has 7 ones. All right, for our next one, we are going to look at 203. 203, perfect. Okay, how many hundreds do we have here? Do we have hundreds? Yep, we do have hundreds. So we have 2 hundreds. Let's look. Do we have tens? No tens. And how many ones do we have here? 3 ones. Awesome. So we know that these are what make up this number. Let's keep on going. We just have a couple more, or I'm sorry, we only have one more, and then you guys can do some independent practice. So our final number we're going to do together is 154. Okay. How many hundreds do we have here? How many hundreds? 100. Awesome. How many tens? 5 tens. Awesome. And how many ones? 4 ones. And we know this is 154, 100, 5, 10, and 4 ones. Awesome job, you guys. That's just another method to kind of decompose and take that apart. Now I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you guys can work on some independent practice. Okay. Here is your turn. Go ahead and pause this video and you guys can take a chance to work on these yourselves, just like we did. Great job, you guys. Hopefully you paused it. Here are your answers. The answer to the first one is 695. The second is 117. The third is 4 hundreds, 3 tens, 2 ones. And the final one is 8 hundreds, 7 tens, and 1 one. I hope you guys got those answers. I'm sure you did. And if you didn't, be sure to ask a friend or an adult for help. Okay, so this is just us going through the lecture, or I'm sorry, going through the objective. It said by the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify place values, build numbers through place value riddles. Do you guys feel like we achieved this goal? Give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or maybe just a fist if you're feeling like maybe. Hopefully you guys are all giving me thumbs up. I know I felt like I learned so much about place value in this lesson, and I feel like the more we practice, the better we will be. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Keep practicing, keep doing math, working with place values. You guys are awesome, and have a great day. Bye-bye.